tell us something about your upcoming exhibition, Suspension of Disbelief, at Museum Boijmans Van Beuningen?
Well, it's a fairly known title. Suspension of Disbelief originally comes from the idea of literature where you basically you expect the reader to accept certain things in the narrative that could be fantastic or could be difficult to believe. And in movies, obviously, suspension of disbelief means that you accept that a certain character can climb on the wall, which is physically impossible, but that's because the character you want to believe in makes you suspend this disbelief. So you have a moment where you decide that you will go along with this story even though it's maybe not realistic. And there's a funny anecdote actually that it seems to be that people find it easier to accept that Superman can fly and burn things with his eyes than the fact that his co-workers wouldn't recognize him just because he's wearing glasses. That's a very interesting leap of suspension of disbelief, which is kind of funny. Yeah. I invite you to enter a world of imagination, not a world of reality. So I invite you to suspend your disbelief quite literally. I'm not teaching anything, it's not an illustration to an idea, it's about opening up people's imagination, so basically giving them something to chew on.
How does your work at Art Rotterdam relate to your show at Boijmans?
And now I'll show a piece which has to do a lot with the suspension of disbelief, which are matte paintings that I made. They're not paintings actually, but they're photographs. And then probably the light object that I showed you earlier. I mean, there's a body of work being created right now, also some of the stuff that you see here. And some of it might function very well in the fair, and some of it might function better in the exhibition at Boijmans, and it's going to be in between, checking out which ones go where at the very end actually.
What are your personal experiences with Fate and Fortune?
I don't know if you've seen this Last Smoking Flight, the movie I made. Ever since I returned to Holland, which was in November 2007, I've kind of thought about what's the balance in the end, because I've been gone for 10 years, and I think when you return, you always find yourself talking to friends from that you've known from way back. And I returned to Amsterdam basically because my mother passed away rather rapidly from cancer. Then I met colleagues and they said, well, it's going very well. I read about you in the magazines, and you're doing a lot of international work, and your art's going very well. So things are good. And I say, yeah, it's great. And then they asked, well, why you're here? I said, well, my mother passed away. And there's this moment that actually I go from actually acknowledging and realizing that things have gone very well. I've had a lot of work and I can go a lot of places. And at the same moment I realized that things, that there's the flip side to the coin. So that's what has been influencing the work. I really felt to a certain degree I could really look at both sides of luck and misfortune, fortune and misfortune. Yeah, cancer was a big thing suddenly, and it's a lottery. I mean, it is 1 out of 3 people, and I'm not doing it directly, it's not my style, but yeah, this is what it's about. It's about people dying and having the short end of the stick.